What is up, everybody? Welcome to a new episode of the Savage Patriots, and we have officially rebranded our intro and welcome to everybody. And we're going to be doing things a little bit differently from here on out. So just be ready for what we got coming. Okay, this is going to be look. We ain't going to change necessarily who we are,
No.
but we might change a little bit, like a little bit. Yeah. We're going to start. We were just talking backstage about possibly having like an occasional guest. Here's a problem with occasional guests. We got to pick them so wisely because sometimes people want to come on, but they're not ready to come on. Like, you know what I mean? It's not saying
Yeah.
you got to be the best podcaster, but be ready for a good conversation. That's all I'm saying. Okay. If you ain't ready for a good
Yes.
conversation, then it probably won't work out.
Yeah, what I always say, when you come on a podcast, get the TikTok out your mind.
Get
Operates
TikTok,
differently.
yeah,
Get TikTok out your mind. Yeah.
That's the one thing we can't have, don't have, and we really can't have no time for. It's the tickety of the tuckety. Okay, just so you're aware. But today we are going to be diving into the issues when it comes to a certain individual, namely the person that did a whole lot of terroristic acts in Colorado.
Yeah.
This fool right here. Now I know that many people might look at this and think to themselves, hey, look, he didn't have any real ties to any terrorist groups or anything like that. And that might be true. But we're not looking at terrorist groups for his ties. We're going to keep this a little closer to home for ties. And that's where we're going about it from. It's not like we're going to do like every other podcast, which goes into the why and all that nonsensical stuff. We're going
Right.
in terms of on his end. We do know why. We have 100% clarity on why he did what he did. And it's because of the heightened rhetoric that a lot of the politicians and people on social media that are anti-Israel have been pushing. If they want to, and we were saying too, if they want to arrest Donald Trump for inciting, I wish they would keep that same energy for somebody who actually did something because somebody else said something and pushed him to do it. Do you think anybody else will get any jail time with him?
Outside of his, outside of politicians?
No, just politicians too, including politicians. Anybody.
Unless they can tie it to someone else that was planning this whole thing with him, but I haven't heard anything about that yet.
Yeah, neither have I.
I heard that they're investigating his family, wife and children too. At least they've collected them. I'm unsure as to whether or not they'll get anything to the bottom of it, but this was him in the location at the time.
We're here, brother. We're here. We can't do nothing about that. We can't do nothing.
We can!
Not here.
You have to answer this!
Not here, bro.
You're not!
People are taking video right
You have to
now.
answer this!
He was wearing an orange suit with like something on his back.
Spraying alcohol,
Spraying
too.
alcohol, but what he did was he made it look like he was here.
He's making Molotov cocktails.
Palestine and for us,
Well, we can't do it when he's got Molotov cocktails in
if
there.
you are fighting, you have to
That's what he's got right here is Molotov
You're
cocktails.
5,000. They are killers.
Get back, Mom.
Doesn't it sound like he's speaking German?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
It seemed kind of scripted, but the one thing I noticed is that you don't see a lot of people from the left actually coming out hard on this act. They're kind of silent right now, especially the left-wing creators, those parasites on TikTok and those, so-called influencers. They're very quiet about this.
Mucho quieto. That's my Spanish for the day. Mucho el quieto on the subjecto. Okay. Oh, this is the news reporting on it. Listen to it.
We have some breaking news from Colorado. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says that ICE and DHS are taking the family of Mohamed Soliman into custody. We also have new video of the attack and a warning that some may find these images disturbing. It appears to show the suspect throwing Molotov cocktails at the demonstrators. Federal authorities say the suspect told them he had planned the attack for a year and says he has, quote, no regrets.
So let me get this right. The video does indeed show him doing it.
Yes.
But it appears.
Well, you know, the initial reports when this first happened, the first day, the initial reports that it was a white male.
Yes.
That's what they put out.
Why am I not surprised by this? That makes so much more sense that they would say it that way. It's just
his name's Mohammed.
Mohammed Al-Akbari Makbara.
No, those white Mohammeds that are running
Durka, Muhammad Ali Jihad. Durka.
Like, come on,
Forget
man.
your jihad.
Come on, man.
I'll raise you a jihad.
Yeah, hey, look, and this was all under Biden. He came in under Biden in 22, overstayed whatever they gave him in 23.
Of course.
Was supposed to be sent back, never got sent back. But that is par for the course for any of the things that came in during Biden. And I do call them a thing. You got to be a different level of disgusting, non-human trash to do what he did, regardless of your party line affiliation or your view on the world. What he did was animalistic. I don't want him deported. I'd like to see him face a chair, just straight up. Just straight up face a chair. If you like to have that, like, you know, you want to feel what it's like to get hot, that's the best way to do it. I don't understand how they can walk free. Even just deporting him doesn't seem enough.
You know, you said, what year did you say? 2022?
22, yeah.
What year? No, that was 2024. Never mind. I was going to say, you remember all those pardons Biden signed, and there was that secret list of people that no one knew about? Mm-hmm. And we were talking about insider attacks, and we're probably going to see insider attacks after this. What if he was one of those guys?
I could see it. I could definitely see it. But at the same time, he's going to get deported either way because the pardon ain't going to stop him from getting what he's supposed to get, which is sent back home.
Right.
Good.
No matter what he does, he's going to be sent back. I don't think this is going to be one of those things that we can say he won't. What I want to see is not just sent back. He needs to serve. Justice needs to happen. Point blank, period. But please don't forget that before all this took place, we have people like this clown, this bartending broad.
We pray for the people of Palestine, the people of Gaza, and we continue. It is really important to me that we take that time and we commit ourselves to fighting for a ceasefire in the region and for conditioning any military support that goes over there. Yes. We must bring an end to this war. And I'm proud to do that as your congresswoman. I'm proud to bring that advocacy directly to President Biden and unapologetically as well, to understand that the people of the United States as well are committed to peace and the protection of all.
Now, what she said was not what she actually means.
Yeah.
If you realize she let it slip. She let it slip. She said she wants a ceasefire, but where did she say she wants to see military go to? Okay. Just saying. They say it without they're even realizing that they say this stuff. Like, I don't know how they don't catch themselves saying it, but she said it out loud right away. And we support sending the military. Like, what? How is that going to be a ceasefire if you're sending the military over there?
Yeah, you can't have peace with people that are raised in war and chaos. I mean, it's put into their head from a very young age about Jews, to hate Jews. So their whole life growing up hating them, wanting to take them out. So you can't call for peace when you got a generation of kids and you have adults out there whose whole sole purpose in life is to wipe Jews off the face of the earth. There's never going to be peace over there until the other side takes out the people that actually want to wipe them off the face of the earth.
Don't you find it a little bit odd? The people that are calling Trump a Nazi are the same people who are pro-Gaza and Hamas, who want to see an end to the Jews, kind of like the Nazis.
Yeah, and on that point, Marlon, they're the same people that support Ukraine who have active Nazis in their military.
It's
I'm
almost
trying
like
to make it make sense.
It's almost like they just outsourced their anti-Semitism. That's what it is.
Yeah,
like Germany did it. You know, I mean, far be it for Germany to talk about anti-Semitism when they're the ones that created anti-Semitism, but then just simply outsourced it by letting in all the Allahu Akbars into their country.
Yeah,
it's almost like, should I say it?
Yeah,
leftists are national socialists.
Yeah, kind of like another mustache man we know.
Yeah, you know,
and another rotund mustache man.
Yeah.
In fact, all of them seem to have a mustache. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Must be a trend that they go through. Trend de agua.
I see what you did there.
I see, and pretty good, right? And then, of course, you have dingbats that are on TikTok. And this is the rhetoric they try to mix. They mix the few handfuls of Zionists and they mix it to all of Israel and Jews. Okay? You know who the mustache man is. Come on.
Yeah.
You know who the mustache man is.
He does these crazy hand movements and he does Wiener Schnitzel.
That guy. You know who I'm talking about?
Jäger Schnitzel and Wiener Schnitzel.
Heiner's hello to the Jotens. That guy.
Y'all know who we're talking about. Come on now. Mustache man.
Don't be obtuse, guys. Yeah. You know, we're just being YouTube friendly.
Mustache man. Now, tell me if I'm the only one, but does she look like she's a little unhinged when she's talking? Let's listen to her. I don't know who this lady is.
Do we have to listen to her? Because I can tell right away.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to, but it helped.
Fair enough.
Here we go.
Israeli Zionist Jews destroy themselves and all Jews everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Israel's systematic starvation and genocide campaign against the Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank is the root cause of the rise of anti-Semitism. Let us listen to Anthony Lowenstein, a respected independent journalist, filmmaker, and author of The Palestine Laboratory, who is also a Jew, speak the truth about Israel during a recent interview on Al Jazeera's The Take. Let us listen.
In saying all this is Israel safer than before? Well, I would say undeniably no. And it's worth saying that as someone who is Jewish myself, as a Jew, Israel makes all of us more unsafe. It is.
I'm curious as to how. Just hear me out. Hear me out. How? Like I'm trying to think back to all of the treaties they made with the Palestinian people. And every time there is a war, it was transgressed by Palestine, including this last one that happened that caused this entire war right now. Like, how is this Israel's fault? Like, I'm still trying to figure out how this is Israel's fault. Like, I'm really struggling to figure that out. Maybe someone can help me. You can help me. Go ahead, help me.
No, I have a question because I don't have a conclusion to your question.
Dang it!
But I would also like to posit that psychobabble lady at the beginning. People in the chat, if you want to sign up, don't be like the lady because she's reading from something and she can't even pay attention to her own script. So that's not the type of podcaster that we want here on Savage Patriots. We need y'all to have a personality, not some parrot like the lady. Okay, so just caveat.
Hey, one thing I will say about this guy, the minute he said as a add in, whatever you want to add in, my brain immediately shut off. So whatever he's saying right now, it means nothing to me because he's coming from a position of authority as a Jew, X, Y, and Z. You know, it's making us all unsafe. So him as a Jew, we should believe him because he is one. Make it make sense.
I'm just trying to figure. I'm just trying to figure out where he's coming from with this nonsense. I don't even know how he came up with this. But anyway, let him see what he's got.
More unsafe to be a Jew in Israel than anywhere else on this planet. Now, the idea that Israel was supposed to be a safe haven, that was on the tin. That was the argument why Israel was created. We need, as Jews, a safe haven. Israel is the opposite of that. And the idea that you can, as an Israeli state, kill 50, 60, 70,000, maybe more Palestinians and not expect there to be a whole generation of hatred in the Middle East and beyond is delusional. So,
wait. Oh,
Okay.
what? No, go. Okay, one of you go ahead, because I'm gonna say something that's gonna get the channel taken down. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, Jay, you can go first. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
I'm still trying to process the numbers that he was talking about. 50, 60, 70,000.
I'm trying to process the fact that he said if you kill a whole generation of Palestinians, this pretty much is the reason why they're in the situation they're in now. But isn't it the same on the other side? If you kill a whole generation of Jews, innocent Jews, women and children, aren't you going to have a bunch of pissed off, angry Jews in the same matter?
One would think, but also at the same time, he says that Israel was started
as a
to be a safe haven for the Jewish people who suffered from the diaspora, for them to come back to. That's just you trying to be your own nation state that you have every right to become, and then for Israel to be inside this little tiny bubble surrounded by a bunch of suicide bombers and goat and everybody who thinks that the word of a woman is equal to that of half that of a man, and that your wife is nothing more than a tilth for you to plow. You can go look it up. I don't know if I mean, Israel is a safe haven for everybody. It seems like not just Jews, but Arabs who are also part of the Israeli government seems to be weird. I don't know, safe. So it's odd for me to listen to this self-proclaimed Jew who's sitting there saying that Israel is not safe, and yet there are Palestinians in the Israeli government
of all places.
I'm more confused than before now.
Now, are there any Jews in the Palestinian government?
No, that'd be
no. I'm just asking.
Considering that they don't really have one, and they don't really have any kind of structure outside of Hamas, then that'd be a negatory.
Yeah.
So we're gonna, after he's done with his diatribe, we're gonna go into some history because this does lend back to what this guy did. Trust us, it will. Watch.
Israel. It is June 4th, 20.
Saying that as someone who is Jewish was on the tin. That was the argument why Israel was created. We need, as Jews, a safe haven. Israel is the opposite of that. And the idea that you can, as an Israeli state, kill 50, 60, 70,000, maybe more Palestinians and not expect there to be a whole generation of hatred in the Middle East and beyond is delusional. So
Israel.
Is it delusional? Hold on a second. I'll let Grandma. You remember Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood?
Yeah, I love that show.
Who was the witch, the lady that was on the other side of the puppet town?
From the puppet?
Yeah.
What was her name?
I know who you're talking when he put them on a train and
people in the chat. What was her name? The lady puppet that was over there. She was the big nose, like older hag lady. What was her name? If y'all remember it, please put it in the chat because I want to remember. But that's who she reminds me of.
Lady Elaine.
Lady Elaine. Lady Elaine. That's how she used to talk like this. This is Lady Elaine.
Hang on a second. We gotta do this.
Lady Elaine up in here saying her 2 cents of things. Man. Wow. All right, Grandma, finish.
It is June 4th, 2025, and your slaughter continues as you murder another 100 starving Palestinians in Gaza during the last 24 hours.
Okay, enough of you. Now, let's do a little bit of what we like to call this here a history lesson, shall we? Okay, cool. Because they like to pretend that this started in 2020. They want to pretend that this entire conflict between Israel and the people of Palestine, whatever that is a modern day thing. Especially idiots like Candace Owens. And yes, she is indeed a blathering buffoon. Aside from trying to back up a pedophile rapist like Harvey Weinstein and being friends with the Tate brothers like a retard that she is also ill-equipped to speak about the Gaza, Palestine, Israel issue because she has no clue what she's talking about because she doesn't go back far enough. She refuses to go back far enough. She likes to dig into everybody else's past like Kamala. She'll go all the way back to Jamaica for that crap, but she will not talk about the fact that this has been going on since the days of David, biblical times. But what does she know about the Bible? She's a Catholic. Anyway, we are going to look into this. Let's do some timeline, shall we? 1951. Was that 2024? 23? No, that's 1950. That's a while ago.
70 years removed.
Okay, that's a few years. The state of Israel was confronted by a wave of Palestinian infiltrators. 118 Israelis, including 48 civilians, were killed by such infiltrators.
Real quickly, can we also posit the notion that Palestinian is a transliteration from Roman Syrian Philistia, which is in fact where they get the Philistines, which translates into invaders. So. And nomads. And don't forget who the big guy was that David took out. He was a Philistine too. Odd. What were they doing to David's people at that time? Oh, that's right, killing them. Anyway, let's go back far back. Let's go. According to Israel Army records, an average of 36 infiltrators were killed each month during 1951. Arabs were also being attacked by the Israelis, and the overall situation deteriorated. Israel began retribution operations as punishment and prevention measures. So remember, they came first. Make sure you put that down in your record book. Okay, 1952. 68 Israelis, including 42 civilians, were killed by Palestinian infiltrators. Oh, look again. They came back again in 52. And look again in 53, 71. It's weird. It keeps happening. It's almost like, wait a minute. It's almost like Israel has been the doormat for these people for a long time. At least 7 decades.
It's kind of, okay, you know. And to the other guy's point, you think people of generations are not going to hate you for it? You think? But it only applies to Israel.
Yeah.
Look at this. April 22nd, at least 6 Jordanian soldiers were killed by Israelis after, of course, remember, they attacked infiltrators. Let's go to 54. 57 Israelis were killed, including 30 after what? Border police record between men. Again, who infiltrators by who? Okay, you named it. Now, this is 4 years going so far, right? All right, cool. Let's go again. 55, 74, 24. Again, infiltrators. That's 55. 56. Look at that. Again. 57. They finally decided to go on the attack. But look at that. They withdrew. It's kind of odd. But if for 5 years straight, I keep losing people to the same people because they keep trying to get into my place to kill me, should I not be skeptical about trying to reach out a hand or an olive branch to them? Just a thought. Okay.
What can we do to resolve this? You know, we're tired of dying. We're tired.
Well, let's see here. 64. The Palestinian Liberation Organization was founded in Cairo by the Arab League. This guy was his first leader, Ahmed Shakari. Although the organization was de facto controlled by the Egyptian government, the PLO stated their goal as the destruction of the state of Israel. Okay, hold on. I thought for sure Israel was behind this. I thought it was all Zionist and stuff, but what do I know? Let me see here. So their whole idea was to destroy Israel.
Isn't that what from the river to the sea it means?
That's what. And look at it. You see, look at it here. Independent Palestinian state between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea. Okay. So we see it's not in 2020 or 2022 or 2021 or 2023. This started forever ago, and the first people to attack was not Israel. And again, even when we're talking about this current conflict, the first persons to attack was not Israel. Okay, cool. So now that we have that history lesson out of the way for the people that like to talk stupid crap, now that's out of the way. I know you wouldn't listen to it. It doesn't matter, but I still want to put it in case somebody develops two brain cells to rub together. In case you develop those, it wasn't started there. So what would be the purpose of them promoting it, and why would they back Hamas? Let's think about this real quickly. If I am part of a nation state that wants the ending of another nation state, but it was all based on religion, how would I possibly create a treaty to make that stand? I can't.
Not a political one, anyways, because it's a theological battle, not a political battle.
Which is why Molotov cocktails will be their choice every time, because they are not looking for peace; they're looking for eradication.
That's right.
And when you go to the streets like a flaming moron and chant "From the river to the sea, oh God, that might be free," and when you say stupid stuff like that, you are reiterating the PLO's demand to eradicate the state of Israel. Thereby, the people who know what you're saying are going to be violent towards anybody that they deem a Jew. And you are so stupid, you will fall for the whole, it's a Zionist, isn't it? You'll go for that crap all day long, not realizing you are touting the exact same line that they want you to tout in order to facilitate the violence.
That's right.
Which is why we had that tragedy of those two Israelis that were brutally murdered. A couple of like earlier this week.
Precisely. Now I understand people don't like, history. It's not a very fun thing. History can be boring, but those who don't learn from history are doomed to, what do they say? Repeat it.
Yep.
Okay. So then you'll have people like this doofus here. I have never seen a more.
Is that Jeffrey Nader? Oh, that's not Nader. Nader? No, that's not. That's that other.
Raskin.
Raskin. Same thing.
Jamie Raskin.
Same face.
Now, this is what he had to say about violence. Listen to him.
It's a horror and an atrocity, and we've got to stop the violence. There is no justification for terrorism. There is no justification for hate crimes and violence. Period.
Can we pause?
Okay, good.
I was gonna say. Yeah, no, I agreed, Jamie. Okay. Agreed.
We're on the same page so far?
So no terrorism and stop the violence.
Okay.
Fantastic.
But wait. Wasn't this the same guy that says to fight?
Yes.
What happened was,
we don't want violence unless Americans are doing it.
Common ground and coming together because unity
and things
and
stuff and transgender. Anyway, so I think he should really comb that thing, man. He should really comb that thing. Come on, man. You got money. You could at least get a hairstylist every week to come do your hair, man.
Oh my God.
Anyway, let's just see what he says.
Some of the progressives in the Democratic caucus, like Omar, Tlaib, they've been very outspoken about Israel, anti-Israel. What's your take on that? Do you think they got to turn down the rhetoric?
Look at how shifty he looks.
Calm the waters a little bit when it comes to that stuff.
All right, you're changing the subject.
Changing the subject.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Wait a minute. What?
Yeah.
Can't talk about his counterparts. Changing the subject. No, we're not going to talk about our pro-Palestinian.
Can we review the timeline of this particular clip? So Ratkin is talking about how we need to, stop the violence, no anti-terrorism. Great. No violence. Fantastic. But then his counterparts, namely the squad, the diversity hire squad, who are women of color and who are people of color and also women, their rhetoric is harmful and promote violence and terrorism. And Jamie whatever his name is, shifted his eyes a little bit, and he was like, "Well, hang on a second. Now you're just is that am I right on that one?"
Hey, to each their own. I mean, he just, he has an answer. It's just not an answer.
But look, I'm not on drugs, right? Because I'm seeing or I'm sensing a lack of consistency in the thinking process.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's their MO. These are the same people that would get up there and shame another party for not holding certain politicians accountable for the words that come out of their mouth. You have to be a spineless hack to sit up there and say, you know what? We're not going to hold them accountable. You're trying to change the subject. No, we're going to hold them accountable, party line or not. We're going to hold them accountable for the rhetoric that they put out that could have possibly caused this person to do it. But they don't have a spine. They play politics. They're hypocrites.
So in case people may have missed it, I went ahead and updated the audio for you guys to hear it a little clearer, because I know the question probably went way quickly and no one really heard what the question was. I don't want that. I want people to hear the question and hear his response, so no one can call anyone here on the screen a liar. All right, let's hear him one more time. Say it, Jamie.
A horror and an atrocity, and we've got to stop the violence. There is no justification for terrorism. There is no justification for hate crimes and violence, period.
Some of the progressives in the Democratic caucus, like Omar, Tlaib, they've been very outspoken about Israel, anti-Israel. What's your take on that? Do you think they got to turn down the rhetoric and kind of calm the waters a little bit when it comes to that stuff?
All right, you're changing the subject. I don't want to talk about foreign policy.
How is that? Okay.
What?
How is that foreign? How is that foreign policy? He specifically said the rhetoric about anti-Israel stuff. That's not foreign policy. It's promoting violence. You just finished saying you are against violence. Then you should be able to say they should be too, and they need to stop pushing it.
Yep.
What?
I'm confused.
He is too.
I think everybody should focus that we've got to stop hate violence, hate crime, and terrorism here and all over the world. So thanks so much.
Run.
Oh, wait.
Take off. Run. 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 To your point, don't. The question was related. Is to what the reporter was talking about. So why because he can't answer the question because he doesn't want to get in hot water with them crazy clown women.
Yeah, it's loyalty to the party, and disclaimer for us. Everybody knows our stance on these foreign conflicts and everything like that. We're not really we don't pick sides. It's either right or wrong, good or bad. If we see a wrong, we're going to call a wrong out. When we see violence, we're going to call it out. We don't care what side it's on. But these guys like this Raskin's rat right here is a coward. He's towing the party line. That's exactly what he's doing. But he expects the right to not tow the party line when something happens.
There's another song that reminds me of this guy.
He's a runner. He's a track star.
She's a runner. She's a track star. She gon' run away when it gets hard. She can't take the pain. She can't get scarred. She hurt anyone that gets involved. Don't wanna commit my taking this call.
And what do you mean? A man faster than Usain Bolt, buddy. Yeah, and you see that bald spot in the back of his head shining like the. Is that a yarmulke or a bald spot?
That's stress.
That's
That's what happens when you stress. That's what happens when you lie a lot. That bald spot starts growing up there. That's karma. That's a karma bald spot.
That is a very interesting look.
The take is even worse.
Man. So let's go over the case, okay? Because what the man said when he showed up there is that you guys have been killing us. You guys, speaking to Jews in America. Hear me out. Jews in America have been killing us when he's not one of them because he's not over there. And they're not over there doing anything to anybody, but he's burning and killing them here who have not done anything to anybody that he knows because he's here too. I just want to make sure we got the timelines of what exactly happened. Okay. Mohamed Soliman had no concerning feedback after he began driving for Uber in the spring of 2023, a company spokesman said. As it required for all of the platform's drivers, he passed a criminal and driving history background check and provided photo identification and a valid social security number. Thank you, Biden. Mr. Soliman met all the requirements in accordance with Colorado state law. His account has since been banned and the company has been in touch with the law enforcement spokesperson said. Soliman was dressed like a groundskeeper and seemed a bit out of place in Boulder moments before his attack. When I walked by the gentleman, I didn't know who he was, but thought he was out of place and odd, a tourist said. It wasn't 10 seconds later, I felt fluid on my leg and another lady had been burned. She said that she was with about 20 other members of a Boulder run for their lives when they were attacked. Turnquist was not injured after the attack. She said Soliman stood around and waited as if he wanted to get caught. Turnquist, who is Jewish and lives in Louisville, Kentucky, was back at the crime scene this afternoon, placing flowers and creating a makeshift memorial. Soliman was not on the authorities' radar before yesterday's attack while investigators are examining the suspect's previous whereabouts. Boulder Police Chief Stephen Redfern said his officers had no previous contacts with him. But you know who did? There is one person, one particular group of people that did have contacts with him. Who was that? Oh, yeah, immigration. Yeah, because he had violated his visa. It had expired and he overstayed.
I have a question for you, Marlon. Did you just say that he had a social security number?
Yes.
How?
Well, so you can have two kinds. You can have a temporary work one that you can't do anything else with but work. You can have a visa one for school, a student visa security number, and you can only go to school. So with that social security number, you can only go to school and work on campus.
Right.
Can't work anywhere else. With the work visa, and you get that, you can only work. There's nothing else you can do. However, a lot of the people that go through these programs never really fulfill the program that they're under, and they sneak out and do other things. Now, when I came to school, I had me a student visa, and I was assigned a social security number, which I still have to this day, but they've transferred it over from a student visa to a work visa, from a work visa to a green card, then from the green card to a citizen. And all that time, my social security number told authorities what I could and couldn't be doing. When I was a student, I could not work off campus. When I had my work visa, there was only a certain amount of jobs I could do by law. I don't know if that's changed. And then once I became a green card holder, I can have any job I want. You see, the green card for the work visa was only given if I had a job. The job was the prerequisite for having you couldn't just get the number and go find a job. You have the job offered to you, take it, you get the number, and that's what it applied to, that job. And you had to go back and get the number reapproved for another job every time. For me, I started and got my visa in 96. My student visa in 96. I had my work visa applied in 2001. And by 2004, I had the paperwork signed in for my citizenship, because I filed for my green card when I got my work visa. So I can have everything ready. So I got my green card a year later, and then 3 years later, I got to be a citizen. So that is the process. So he could have had one. The question is, how long did he get it for? Because it gives a certain length of time. So if it's you have so long to do all the paperwork that you want to do to get it transferred to something else. Mine was a 2-year work visa. It's that. So if he got here in 22, then he probably only got a 1 year. And if he's violated that, then it was automatic, should have been a deportation because you violated the terms of your conditions here in the United States.
Thank you, Joe Biden.
Thank you. Thank you, Joey Blowy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joey Blowy.
Or whoever that was wearing that skin mask. Thank you.
You know, the more stuff like this happens, and then we do the little bit of the investigative work on these individuals who are here illegally and just botching everything regarding the system, the more we come to realize that Biden's at fault for a lot of the immigration debacle and the individuals that are here. It seems like it's his fault.
Oh,
am I crazy?
You want to hear the best part? Well, it's not a good part, just the best part. He faces potential charges of assault causing serious injury to an at-risk adult or someone older than 70 and other felony offenses. 12 people were injured in the Colorado attorney whose mother was born in a concentration camp describes as a anti-Semitic hate crime.
And what year did that happen?
What happened?
That crime you said he...
No, we're talking about the same crime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
But the one that the attorney general, his mother was born in a concentration camp. It just so happens. The injured ages are between 52 and 88. So the Soliman is such a punk that he couldn't try doing for younger people because he probably would have got his behind whooped by somebody. He went after the older and weaker because I really wish there was somebody younger to put him out of his misery. Yeah, but it probably wouldn't happen because it's Colorado. So it's not like old Colorado where people were walking around with a 6-shooter. That don't happen no more.
This just goes to show you how passive Americans are. You get a lot of Americans that pump their chest about how this and I'm patriot and I'm this and that and revolution, and they sat there and let that happen because it's not like I don't think it just happened in an instant. Maybe the first one, the first one happened, and then people had to be watching it because there was enough cameras, and for people to just sit there and let this guy that's
beyond me.
I just don't get it because someone who actually cares about their fellow man or fellow American wouldn't sit there and allow that to happen. I would have clotheslined that dude off this planet, and held him down until authorities got there and beat the snot out of him and faced the consequences for beating the snot out of him. But I would have probably helped stop other people from getting injured, especially elderly people who can't defend themselves. I just don't get how passive some Americans can be.
Yeah,
agreed.
But we've been this way for about the last 8 years now, 9 years.
Thank you, Obama.
People will just stand and watch. Okay, you want an example? The lady on the train that got burned.
Yep.
There were people just standing there watching him fan her to death.
Yep.
They didn't touch him. They just looked at it and just watched her standing, burning alive. Not a soul went to try and put her out, put a blanket. Not a thing. So what does that say about the state of the United States right now when it comes to people? Right? That means you can't depend on not even your fellow man.
Nope.
But then they want to get mad when the cops don't do anything, but you're not doing anything either.
Right.
And on top of that, Marlon, when a citizen does step in, like what was that train incident where he choked that guy?
Penny. Yeah.
When a citizen does step in to
arrested.
Stop someone committing acts of violence, that citizen is looked at as the villain, or they get arrested. So I can see why some Americans are kind of like, I don't know. I saw what happened to that last guy that stepped in and beat the snot out of somebody. So I don't know, man. It's just, I think more Americans just need to say, you know what, screw it. I'll take whatever I take. But I'm not going to allow some guy to be up here, doing these things to other citizens. More and more citizens need to start acting on stuff.
Well, it reminds me of an idea where it says, like, if good men do not stand up to evil, then evil will prevail, or something like that. So I think that's what's happening.
Yep.
It is one of those things right now, guys, that we're in a we're in a very crazy, crazy time. This event is not going to be the last one. There are too many people. And if you go through TikTok, trust and believe me, if you see somebody with a Palestinian flag, guaranteed they're going to be saying some sort of rhetoric that will push somebody else to do exactly what this guy did.
Yep.
If you watch any news source, and I mean so-called reputable ones, they say the same thing. They keep pushing the one side issue, that one side is the most violent and evil side. And what do you expect when people are told this side is so evil, they're like Hitler? They're going to act the same way they do to people that have a red. If you watch what's going on, you wear anything that closely related to MAGA, you end up getting beat up in certain locations. Look, when I tell you that it's better to just pick your battles wisely, if you're in an area that you know is running blue, to save your own hide, unless you can fight, don't wear it. I know you want to make a statement, but you could end up dead because these people do not care.
That's right.
Okay, then there are very few people that are cut from certain cloths that will stand up and be able to take about 2 or 3 guys out before they go. Very few of them are like that. And if you ain't like that, don't take the chance. Because you're not going to get defended.
And I'll keep saying it, and I'll say it again. What they need to start doing is deputizing citizens who could pass a background check, who are loyal, who are not loyal, who are, have the ability to stop things like this. If you're a criminal out there and you know that there are citizens out there that are deputized and you don't know who they are, that alleviate this, I might get arrested if I step in, or I might get in trouble. No, if you're deputized, you have the right to step in and stop it without any consequences. But we don't have that. So citizens, they don't want any trouble. That's how people are. I don't want to get in trouble. So they're just going to allow bad things to happen to innocent people. And that needs to stop.
Yeah, it do. It do need to stop. Unfortunately, it won't. It won't. And this is going to continue until somebody in some, it want to stop. It'll stop when somebody, one of their people in political places get harmed. Then all of a sudden they're going to be like, oh no, we got to stop. Maybe then they'll actually do something about it. I don't know. But in the meantime, this is gonna. I think this is. He'll get deported, but I want to see more than that happen.
Yeah,
I do. I want to see more than that. I think they need to track down where he probably would have gotten indoctrinated from. See if there's anybody else that he was talking to. I'm sure they're doing all that. So you might see more arrests too. You might see a couple of people get pulled over and get tagged. We'll see. We'll figure it out. But come Friday. We'll see if we can probably procure a guest. If you know somebody that's willing to debate political stuff and they're on the left, we've asked this before.
Yeah.
And it has not gone well.
It's not a safe space.
No. They seem to run.
And they don't have the power of the TikTok mute either. So that's what.
Yeah. So
and they don't have the power. They don't have the power of their followers. They're monkeys that are in that chat with them.
Yeah.
They don't have that power on a podcast.
That part.
So anyway, you might want to check that out. See if anybody's willing to let them know, and then send them our email.
What's that email again?
What's that?
The email?
Yeah, what's the email again?
5 + 5 = 10.
Purple.
This is it right here.
Who was that other monkey that ran when Marlon debated him and he wouldn't even show up? What's his name?
Alan?
No, RC Dubs. Yeah.
RC Dubs,
Yeah, RC Dubs. That's
go
what they
see
did.
a movie.
What, did he disappear? I haven't seen him.
I think so.
He's been making his rounds. He's just never been around the circles.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
He's in his echo chambers from here on out, I think.
He's in something. I haven't seen him at all recently, but I haven't been looking either. And
Right, that too.
I have no intentions to go look. I'm going to stay clear of that fool for as long as I can.
Yep.
But I'm sure by Friday we might want to tackle this Elon thing that people are losing their minds over. The so-called tweet that he put out.
Oh yeah, the bad idea, or where he talked about the big, beautiful bill.
Yeah, the big beautiful bill.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it. We have at least I have a different view about it. I'm not going to suggest or say what the other two have. I have my own opinion about it, and I think it's quite hilarious. My viewpoint is, but I think it'll be a great discussion come Friday, because I'm not going to tell nobody what my viewpoint is until Friday.
It is what it is.
Mine is a little It's funny. Let's just put it like that. It's a hilarious one. Very hilarious one.
Hey, I'm Team Elon, all the way.
I am too.
I'm Team Elon.
He's out of the game now. So what's the big deal? So now it's his opinion. Who cares?
He might. I think he's out of the game, but not out of the game. I think he's kind of in and out at the same time.
Yeah, but he's not like contractually obligated now to work in the capacity that he was before. So
yeah, definitely. My point is definitely funny.
So if y'all want to know what that is, tune in Friday.
Yeah, based on what I just heard, oh yeah, it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be great. Anyway, we'll catch you guys on the flip side come Friday. Make sure you tune in, Mr. Lee.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you Friday.
Peace.